We control who we spoke to, we control the message, to some extent, we control the media. In this new world, we don't even exist on the media if we don't play by the rules. So this, what kind of media am I talking about? Well, I'm sure you're familiar with a lot of those little symbols. And the message, instead of, somebody said, and I've stolen this picture from them, is that everything you have to know about modern day media can be explained with the help of a donut. Right? And so Facebook is like donuts, and Twitter is I'm eating a donut, and so on and so forth. And actually, when I come to Russia, I had Jan explaining to me how you say "yubyubonchike," which I think means something like "I like donuts" in Russian. And the point is that if you want to do this in Russia, you have to remember that people are more on contacted than they are on Facebook. And if you go to China, you have to consider Wu Ai Tian Chen, which is the whole extent of my Chinese, which means again I like donuts in Chinese because people in China would be on brand instead of Facebook or anything else. Anyway, it doesn't matter the details about all of that. They have, however, one thing in common, and the thing that they have in common is you. People are the killer application of the internet. It's not about technology. So I got invited here to talk about technology, but I'm not going to talk about technology because the only thing that really matters is how you behave, how I behave. And the fact that we do this online doesn't make us any different. We don't become Martians with green skin, trumpet nose, and pointed ears just because we're using Facebook. We remain the same people. So we need to understand the human motivations and the human interactions that are behind the use of technology. And that's exactly, I want to briefly touch 3 topics that have been already ended. So how is trust transformed? Trust is an essential part of how we do business. Imagine a world without trust in the financial markets or in trading or in commercial, that would be possible. However, the mechanism of establishing trust is very different. And I'm going to show you a little example of what I mean by this transformation. And the thing you see on the screen right now is a post. It's not particularly new, it's a few years ago. Somebody posting on a big technology community about some obscure matter, right? Some Swedish mathematician winning the Abel Prize for mathematics. That's a topic that I'm sure is familiar to everybody in the audience. Anyway, this article, I think it's like 12 lines of an article, contains 3 errors, 3 mistakes, which I have highlighted for you on the screen. Now, the traditional mechanism of trust say, how can I trust somebody that has 3 mistakes in 12 lines? This is not a trustable organization. However, this is what happened. This article was posted at 4:38 a.m. in the morning. Okay? And let's see what happens. 501, somebody corrects error number 3. Can I get to the next one? No, I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. Hey, somebody help. I see the bloody thing moving.
Дальше фильм какой-то, видео?
Well, no, it's not a video. I'm just trying to get to the next slide. And I see.
Переключите, пожалуйста.
The running for us. Yeah. So you're going to explain what I'm doing wrong here. Okay. Hey, don't go away. Whatever it was, it's still here. So you press this button. Okay, you've done it. So 21 minutes later, thank you, round of applause for the man who said 21 minutes later, two separate persons correct error number 1. Let's see, yeah. And 2 minutes later, somebody corrects error number 2. So it is not that this media is trustable because the person doesn't make a mistake. This media is trustable because the community as a whole is able to correct the mistakes that were there. This is how truth and trust is established these days. Now let's talk about a different language. People don't necessarily use the same language as they did before. Modern day communication doesn't respond in kind. And the example I have here is, I'm going to show you, this is going to be a challenge because we had some problems. Can you start the movie, please? You know, we tried this before, so, yeah? Hopefully. Yeah.
Flew United Airlines on my way to Nebraska. Playing hard in Halifax, connecting in Chicago's over. While on the ground, the passenger said from the seat behind me, "My God, they're throwing guitars out there." The band and I exchanged a look, best described as terror, at the action on the tarmac, and knowing whose projectiles these would be. So before I left Chicago, I alerted 3 employees who showed complete indifference towards me. You broke my Taylor guitar. Some big help you are. You broke, you should fix it. Your life just ended. I should have flown with someone else or gone by car. 'Cause United breaks guitars.
Thank you. So what you see here is somebody whose luggage was damaged going someplace. And instead of filing a claim with United Airlines, he did this video. And this video got, oh no, not again, please. This thing doesn't work. Right, oh, sorry. This thing got 15 million views, right? So instead of using the channel that United provide to consumers to file the complaint, it went online on YouTube and it got this level of attention. So we need to be prepared to the fact that they will not necessarily use what we give them to tell us what they think. So we need to be listening with our ears to the ground. And the final point that I want to make about relationships is how relationships are changing. And I have a little story. It's a personal story. Like many people, I think here, I have an American Express card. I actually had one for 20 years, and I use it for my travels and everything. And at some point, I had to buy a bunch of airline tickets to get some journalists to a trip to San Francisco. And this resulted in a very big charge at the end of the month. So I got a call from American Express. They say, "Hey, is everything okay? Because we noticed that there is a big change in your spending pattern." And I say, "Yeah, that's fine, don't worry." And they say, "Okay, that's no problem. But there is a policy you should be aware of. And the policy says that until we receive payment from your card, your account is frozen." Right? Means you cannot use your credit card, which is a nuisance. However, the real trouble is that to this card, there is also my wife's card that is connected. Now, I'm the one that has to go home and tell my wife, "Look, my dear, for the next 2 weeks, you can use your credit card." And I know a lot of you like dangerous sports, But if there is a sport I do not advise anybody to do is stand between my wife and her credit cards. That is too dangerous, right? And so I'm pissed, and I don't understand the reason for this policy. So I said, I don't think that's a very nice idea. I think this policy has been designed by some blockhead in a windowless office. And I don't want to write to your CEO a letter about this. And so she gives me the name of a CEO, and I write the letter, but instead of sending the letter, I post it on my very popular blog, which has about 5 readers in the world, right? And then I forget about it, I feel vindicated, go home. Following morning, I come in the office, at 5 o'clock in the evening, my phone rings, and the nice lady says, I'm from American Express, and I wanted to reassure you that my office has windows, right? So the thing